Shall we begin? Okay, well, welcome to our guests for this evening, this Thanksgiving Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you for giving up your ham and turkey to come and join us. Giving up your ham and turkey to come and join us. So we'd like to get started with a word of prayer. This is what we do at our Bahamas Project Management Community meetings. So I'd like to invite Andrea to give us a word of prayer, please.
Good day, everyone. Dear Heavenly Father God, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you again on your throne of grace. Lord, we ask that on this Thanksgiving Day that you give us a reminder of all the little things that we ought to be grateful for. Lord, sometimes we overlook the small aspects of just the gift of life, having breath in our body, having health and strength and daily bread. But Lord, we ask that you would remind us again how we are to serve you in the least way and be grateful for the small blessings you have bestowed upon us. Lord, as we gather as the Bahamas Project Management Community, we thank you, Lord, for those who are gathered here. Yes, Lord, the numbers may be small tonight, but we thank you just for that one person who decided to join us, Lord. We give you thanks, honor, and praise just for them. Lord, we ask that as we continue in this community of learning, that you would always be with us, that you would guide, lead, and protect us, Lord, and that in everything we do, we will seek your will, and that everything will be done to your honor and your glory. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
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 So, okay, so while I'm just going to share my screen for a bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bahamas Project Management Community. And while I do that, I see that we have a couple of persons joining us. I'm not going to ask you to turn on your camera right now, but if you don't mind, can you just open up your microphones and tell us perhaps how you learned about the meeting? I can see your names, where you're from, perhaps. If you're not from the Bahamas, you're visiting us from somewhere else, and what it is that you want to get out of this meeting tonight, and perhaps a little bit of what you're thankful for. So I can just start. So I am Sophia. I am hosting tonight, part of the Bahamas Project Management Community. And I'm just thankful that we have an opportunity to come together to listen to an awesome speaker, Keshelle Davis. Always a pleasure to be in your presence, and learn a little bit more also about, be able to share about the Bahamas Project Management Community. So that is it from me. I will turn it over to Andrea quickly, and then we can just choose somebody else and keep going.
Okay, Sophia, thanks for passing the baton. I am grateful as always for just waking up this morning for the gift of life. You know, I start every day with just saying, thank you, Lord, for opening up my eyes and allowing me to walk out of bed. You know, I know some people just, they expect so much, but I expect so little, and I appreciate everything that is given to me, every blessing. And so I'm always grateful for everything. And I will pass the baton to Toya. Toya just joined us and she's on camera. We're just saying who we are, how we knew about the meetup, where we're from, and what we're grateful for on this Thanksgiving Day.
Oh. Hi, everyone. My name is Toya. I am from the Bahamas, but I currently live in Canada, me and my husband. And I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for love. And yeah, did I miss anything?
That's it. That's great. Great. Pass the baton, Toya, to someone. Can you see the names of the participants?
I will pass the baton to Sophia.
Sophia just spoke in the beginning, so I will pass the baton to Levette.
Okay.
Good evening, all. I'm in Freeport, and I am grateful for being alive, for not feeling sick today, for my daughter, for wonderful friends and a great support system. And I'm hoping tonight to learn a lot more about planning and putting together a vision or for business. So I'm thankful for Ms. Davis. And I
Yvette, you cut off your mic before you
Did we
pass the
lose?
baton.
Yeah. Did we lose you? Okay, let's pass the baton to, who's next there?
Anne?
to Cleveland. I pass the baton to Cleveland.
Good night, everyone. I am so grateful to be alive. I'm thankful to be able to do for myself, to be able to feed myself, dress myself, and perform as I should as a man fully. I'm grateful to be a part of this business community. And my hope and aspiration tonight would be to learn more about planning business and also expand on my personal business vision. I think that's a part of the topic. I learned about this forum tonight from Andrea. We go way back from church. And I passed the baton to Renee. Is it Renee?
Renee may have just joined. Yes, it's Renee. I think Renee just joined. What we're doing, Renee, is we are very quickly just saying our full names if it's not visible, where we're from if it's not the Bahamas, what we are grateful for on this Thanksgiving Day, and what it is we hope to gain out of this meetup, and perhaps how you heard about the meetup, whether it was social media or someone on the team.
Okay, just joining. Thank you, Sophia. I am from the Bahamas. The name is Renee Juma. Just got the invite today from Sophia, and I am grateful for life. I think just the fact that I'm here, given COVID and all that's been happening, tomorrow is not promised to anybody. So that's my grateful moment there. In terms of what I hope to gain, just a curious mind. Since I got the invite, looked at it. I know Keshelle, I know she's dynamic, she's awesome. So looking forward to hearing what she has to say.
Excellent, excellent. I don't think we missed anybody, Andrea. Did we miss anyone?
Yes, we miss Anne.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. I am thankful for this community. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful that, I have the opportunity to work from home. So I worked from home today and I had a great day. I was invited by Andrea. We were in another meeting on Saturday. And so I said, let me come over and see what is happening here. I am kind of new to Agile, only knowledge theory per se. So I'm seeking opportunities to, get more involved. So I'm a part of many clubs and to get some working experience. I hope to gain much insights from this meeting. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great.
Okay, Anne,
We got everybody?
Miss where she's joining us from.
Oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica.
From the Caribbean. Okay. Keshelle, you're gonna chime in? What you're thankful for?
Yeah, good night, everyone. I am grateful for life. I think so many of you said it, just the fact that we are here, we are gathering in spite of the pandemic, and so many lives are lost. Just grateful for life, grateful for, someone said it that hit me, grateful to be able to do for myself, and not, depend on, people to have to, feed me and all of the things that comes with, challenges that life could bring. I'm grateful for love, grateful for family, just grateful that I'm able to share, my knowledge on this dynamic platform with so many of you as well. So I'm one that believes in practicing gratitude every single day. That's something that I believe in. So Thanksgiving is just one other day, just to express it.
Okay, so I think we got everybody now. So Andrea, maybe you could just monitor if somebody else comes in. We could probably pick them up after Keshelle is done. So I just wanted to give everybody a bit of an overview of the Bahamas project management community. I left it up there for a while just so that you could glance at it, take a look at it. I don't want to read it off, but essentially what we are is a community of professionals who want to share our knowledge. We want to network, we want to interact, we want to elevate persons in the area of project management and related fields, project management. It doesn't have to be persons who are already certified. They could just be persons who have, somebody else mentioned it, a curious mind, persons who want to understand how to better manage projects that they may be working in, how to better handle community events, become better, well-rounded individuals in terms of managing projects. So those are the things that we want to do. How we try to do this is we have these meetups. So right now we're doing the meetups every couple of weeks. Next year, we're going to go into a whole nother set of speakers, another lineup. So we hope to grow the community, grow the persons who are interested in joining the community, develop skills, increase our subject matters, really develop a really good lineup of speakers. This year, they've all been excellent. We have one more speaker to the end of the year, but I'll speak more about that at the end of the night, at the end of the session. But this is how we try to grow the community, how we try to reach persons. And so it's good that you've learned about us in a few different ways, and we're trying to expand that as well, how we get the word out about our community to help our community to grow. So that's a little bit about us. Any questions that you may have specifically about the community, we'll have time for that in the Q&A at the end. But I'd like to just introduce our speaker right now, Ms. Keshelle Davis, who is here. She really needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to speak about her and tell you how wonderful she is. So Keshelle Davis is a business growth mentor and CEO of the Training Authority, an award-winning, internationally recognized business, education, and consulting organization in the Bahamas. She is the former executive director of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, Chamber Institute. In 2017, she won the prestigious Icon Award in Commerce for her almost decades of work in the training and development industry. She was also named Bahamas' top 40 under 40 by Professional Services Bahamas and one of the bridges to the future by the Nassau Guardian's 40th Independence. Oh, screen metaphor. 40 under 40 by Professional Services Bahamas and one of the bridges to the future by the Nassau Guardian's 40th Independence celebration. Keshelle has helped thousands of people to fulfill their vision, obtain mastery, and create wealth in their lives. Keshelle's work has been featured in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia, including Global Women magazine. She has worked with notables such as Sharon Lechter of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Think and Grow Rich for Women, and speaker at a Les Brown event. She is an author of 2 books and creator of popular programs, including the Dreamboard Party Experience, the Planner's Retreat, Make It Real Method, and more. Her mission is to spread knowledge so that together we can progress our work. And so without further ado, Keshelle Davis.
All right. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing? I had an opportunity to hear from everyone and listen, so that's good. Just put in the chat. I know it's Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving. Put in the chat one word to describe how you feel right now. Just put in the chat one word to describe how you feel right now. And that'll give me a chance to make sure that my tech is where it needs to be. Let me know if you can see my screen. And I can see some faces. Sophia is saying excited. Andrea is saying blessed. Tanya is saying happy. And I want to acknowledge who sounds fat. Shakim, listen, I have nothing to say. I want to acknowledge all of you for being here. The fact that it's Thanksgiving and there could be so many other things that you could be doing. So many other activities and places you could have been, but you are here. And so I want to first acknowledge you. And then I also want to acknowledge Andrea and Sophia and the team for inviting me to just talk about a topic that I'm deeply passionate about. And so I am going to dive right in because 45 minutes on this topic for me is no time. It's like a minute to me. And so I've been given the topic, how to manifest your business vision, right? So I want you to answer this question. How many of you either have a business, are in business, or want to be in business? So I know that's 3 different categories, one big question. Just put in the chat. I want to see where you are. Let me know those of you who currently run your own business. Sophia is in business, no business, or if you want to get into a business, put that in the chat as well. So I can just get a feel of who is in the audience. I want a business. Tanya wants a business. Andrea has a business. Shakim is in business. So we have a wide cross section of people who are in business, who want to be in business, and then who don't have any business. So good. So this talk can be for you, even if business is nowhere near hey, Renee, good to see you as well. Are you thinking of starting a business? So I love the playground of business. And so that's really what the context of this presentation is all about. But at the end of the day, you can take out the word business and just leave it as vision, how to manifest your vision. And so if you don't have a business, but have a vision for your own personal life and your own personal career, you can take the same principles and apply it. So you are in the space, because I feel that everybody has a goal and a vision. And I truly believe we're talking about Thanksgiving, and the single most important gift that I believe that we've been given, that we should all be thankful for, is this gift of vision. And that vision is just to be able to see and perceive what we want for our future, right? It's looking beyond our eyesight, but going into our hearts and our minds and imagining what could be possible for us. And so at the end of the day, when we think of vision, nothing noteworthy, nothing noble on earth was ever done without vision. And I know many of us may have heard this before or realized this, but it's just really bringing this home that this topic, although seeming cliche or clichéic, it can be very, very important to remember that vision is something that, and before I go any further, I'm going to put my timer on, because like I say, I'm going to stick with my slides, but I know I can go side on both sides, and so I'm going to keep my timer on point. And so nothing noteworthy was done without vision. No invention, no development, no great feat was ever accomplished without the power of vision. So if you think of everything that you love, even that ham and turkey, well, no, ham and turkey, yeah, anyway, let's see, and then going off. Even, whatever you think of that you love, the seat that you're sitting in, the Zoom room that you're in, everything was accomplished through vision. Someone had to see it before they actually achieved it. And, when you think of the Wright brothers and Thomas Edison and Bill Gates, these people had vision, and we are beneficiaries of the vision that they had, because we need the light, we need the flight, and we all have a computer not only on our desk anymore, but the phones in our hands and on our wrists, the watches are all computers. And I want to ask a question. When it comes to achieving a vision, again, business is the playground, but it can be vision in general. What is the challenges? I want you to jot some thoughts down. When it comes to achieving vision or achieving your goals or achieving your dreams, whatever context you want to put that in, what are some of the challenges that come up for you? Does anything come to mind? Drop some thoughts in the chat. Before I share some of the ones that I've heard quite often, what are some of the challenges that come up for you when it comes to perceiving vision, manifesting vision, going after your goals and dreams. Self-doubt, very, very, very big one. Procrastination, the biggest nation in the world, absolutely. Lack of faith. Yes. 3 common ones, and they're all very common. And you can continue to add those persons who are here. And these are several others that I've heard from persons like yourself. You lose sight of the vision on the journey. So you start working towards the goal, but lose sight of it. And let me know if you can relate to any of these. You face obstacles that make it too difficult, or it seems as though it takes forever to achieve, right? So you have this big vision, and you know, a year go by, 2 years go by, 3 years go by, and you still working this, and it feels forever, like it's forever. It's too hard. You get stuck in the mud of confusion and uncertainty. And I know Tanya says self-doubt is kind of that same feeling, like you're not sure if you really. It's confusing. You're uncertain. You're doubtful of whether this is going to happen. Sophia says something as well. When we look at the business side, lots of moving parts. Yes, that's a big challenge for business people. And then you abandon the vision because you're discouraged, you're disillusioned, you're frustrated, or you just feel like you failed. And those are some of the challenges, and several of you mentioned several others, like lack of faith, procrastination. And so we know already that while vision is so critical to achieving our business, or achieving what we want in our business and in our life in general, there's a lot of challenges. And so if you can relate to any of those challenges, you are in the right place. Now, persons who are, I think it was Sophia said, I need no introduction. I think I still need some introduction. I think several other persons have not known me, although I feel like I speak a lot. My company is called the Training Authority. So I run a training and development company, and I've been working and serving in the training and development industry for 17 years. So I left my good banking job to go into a tech training company, and then I've just gone into training and development, and I believe that that's my purpose. I know Tanya, Sophia mentioned a couple of this. I think the biggest thing that I want to share is that when I look at what my number one strength is, so there's a test called a Strength Finder. How many of you are familiar with the Strength Finder test? If you're not familiar with it, as a business leader, as a project manager, that's definitely something that you would want to look into. And it lists 34 strengths based on this test. And I found that my number one strength was was futuristic, which means that I can talk about the future all day. That's pretty much what it means. I'm excited about vision. I'm excited about goals. I'm excited about helping people achieve their dreams. And I've been doing that for a very, very long time in various ways. So again, when I say that this topic is something that I'm passionate about, while I teach tech, I know Renee, I worked with her team with tech, and people know me in the tech arena. While I can talk business all day, you know, one of my favorite topics is vision and manifesting your vision. And my third book coming out in 2022 is all about this whole concept of manifesting your vision. And at the end of the day, you know, someone talked about purpose here. My purpose truly is to spread knowledge. And I do that through the things that I get to do. I love to progress people, and vision is one of my favorite ways of doing it, because once you have a vision, the goal is how can you make progress towards that vision. And I believe that every leader here, whether again you're in business or not, you have a vision and you also have the ability to achieve it. And how many of us agree with that, that, you know, you've given a vision and you've also been given or can achieve that vision. And I'm really just here to show you the way that I use to achieve vision and manifest vision in business and career and in life. And when I look at how, this is the process that I have studied, that I have worked on and used, I would say, for the better part of 12 years. I call it the Make It Real method. And we won't have time to go into all 12 of these. So if you're taking snapshots, take a snapshot. We won't have time. Like I said, I could be talking about vision all day. This concept was originally created or developed or introduced to me through the book called The Purpose and Power of Vision by Dr. Monroe. He was a mentor of mine and my pastor. And when I look at the understanding vision, his teaching and his book was that impetus that started the study of vision for me. And since then, I've taken his principles, I've studied it, I've turned them upside down, I've picked them apart, I've tested them, I've worked on it with other groups and organizations, individuals, and I can truly, truly, truly say that when it comes to manifesting your vision, your goals and dreams, these 12 steps or these 12 principles are what you need, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, in the time that we have, I'm really going to focus on clarity because I think that's the first and most important step. But before I go into clarity, I want to share in the chat which one of these principles, if you take a glance at them, which one jumps out at you the most when you think of, hey, I have a vision, I want to manifest it, and I need X. Which one? I know Andrea mentioned lack of faith, so I'm going to assume Andrea one's principle or key, maybe faith. Persistence, very, very interesting one. Anyone else? Tanya said persistence. Oh, both of you said persistence. Wow, that's interesting. Again, we don't have time to tackle persistence. Provision, right? Having the funds to manifest the vision that you have, very big one. Anyone else before we go on? Which one of these principles stands out the most to you? And perhaps you may need a reminder of, or need just some insight on, if we had more time, provision. So we have 2 persistence and 2 provision. But listen, I'm starting with clarity. And depending on time, we may dive into the others. But clarity is the first step, and I'll tell you why. So clarity talks about being directed by a clear vision, right? So without a clear vision, provision may not come. Without a clear vision, persistence may be harder to feel or to develop because you're not clear about what it is that you're going on for. Without a clear vision, you may not have the patience. And so we're going to dive deep into clarity. And then again, any questions, if there's any other questions on either the other principles, we can dive into it throughout the question and answer. And so the challenge with having a clear vision, it typically falls onto one of these options. It's either muddy, dirty, meaning, you can't see nothing. It ain't inspiring, it's unclear, and it's buried in some cases. Some people, you ask them what their dream is, their vision is, where they see themselves in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, they don't even know. Because they've buried it, because life happens, right? Challenges of life just, they don't have time, or they don't even have the concept to think of, clarifying their vision. And this is some of the common things why people don't achieve their vision, because it's not clear and it falls within these categories. And I love this quote by Michael Hyatt. And he says, if you don't have a clear vision, no strategy will save you. So in the business world, and I love strategy. I can give you strategy upon strategy upon strategy. Listen, you give me a goal and I can come up with the strategies. But this really sums it up when we think of manifesting our vision. Having a clear vision comes before the strategy. And we're going to talk about what that actually is. Now, when we think of vision as leaders of organizations or leaders of ourselves, there are 3 things to keep in mind. 1, you have to own it. This is not something that you can delegate to someone else. This is not something that you wish someone can give you. Now, people can give you their vision. They can give you their goals, but you as an individual, as a leader, as a business leader, you must own your own vision. And it must be yours. How many of us can relate to someone telling us what our life and what our vision should be? Anyone can relate to that? Yeah, people like to tell you what, what they think you should have and be and do and experience. No, it should be something that you own and you can take responsibility for. And then you want to think exponentially, because small change, incremental change will not inspire you and will not inspire the people around you. Okay. And then lastly, you want to think transformationally. You want to think, okay, this vision, how can this create change for my organization? How could this create change for the people around me? How could this create change for my world, my society, my culture, my community, whatever that means to you? It has to create change. And if it doesn't, the vision really is only benefit. If the vision only is benefiting you, then that vision perhaps is not strong enough or big enough. And so these are things to keep in mind when we think of vision. And vision is the most powerful leadership tool that any person, any tool, one of the most powerful leadership tools that you can have. So when we think of the leadership tools that we need in our toolbox as leaders, communication, culture shift, and all of the things that we talk about. I saw one of my colleagues, one of my good friends, Simone, was here earlier, and she talks about leadership. All of the tools that we need to be a good leader, it starts again with vision. And all of this is selling you on, okay, how do we now create a clear vision? So there's a couple of steps. The first thing in creating a clear vision is to pause. And I love it, slow down to speed up. How many of you have really stopped in the busyness of our lives, busyness of our running our organizations, busyness of running our team, being all the people who we are, and actually stop to think about our future? How many of us have actually done that or done it recently? Let me know in the chat. And there's no judgment if it's yes, but yes, if it's child, what you're talking about, put that too. I want to know, right? Me, I call it running away, yes. And whatever you call it, I love that, Andrea. Yeah, whatever you call it, it's critical if you want to have a clear vision and if you want to manifest this vision, right? And so three ways that I get to pause. It's been a while. Tonya says, take a clarity break, right? Whatever that means to you. Tonya calls it run away. Some people call it sabbatical. Me, I go every year. At the end of the year, I go to one of the islands and I lock down. My husband called it bush. You go into the bush. And look, I love the bush, okay? For me to sit down and think about the new year and think about my vision, that is a must for me because it takes me away from everything and it forces me to slow down and think, right? Vision and an inspiring environment. For me, it's nature, right? I just need to be near rock, trees, and ocean, and I am the happiest person in the world. I don't need TV. I don't need internet. I just need
air condition. Can't rough it. I can't rough it.
What, air condition?
I can't rough it. I need heat. I need air condition.
Yeah. Air condition, okay. That could work too. I could use that. But see, I don't like cold too much, so I don't mind a little bit of a heat. But that's all I need, and that gets me into this zone to think about my future. It takes away all of the external vibe. Some people it's luxury, right? I know some person, they love to be in luxury, and that kind of gets them to expand, you know, their vision, whatever works. And then a third way to do it is I call it an expansive environment, right? Some people just need to be around people who are thinking big. I remember in 2015, I attended an experience in Arizona, and it was led by Sharon Lechter of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Some of you may be familiar with that book, very popular book. And she had 50 entrepreneurs from around the world. And her mission for that event was to expose us to what a multi-million dollar, billion-dollar life could look like. That was her mission, because she invited all of her friends, and one was even, billionaire. These were uber rich people, and she really exposed us to what that lifestyle could be like, as well as pour into us around what our business could have looked like if we thought a lot bigger, right? And I remember that, and I never forgot that experience, because when I came back home, when I thought I had a big vision, that time as I came back and returned and sat down and started to write my new vision, it was almost 10 times bigger than when I left, when I started. And so sometimes if you're struggling with kind of crafting a clear vision or a new vision, be around people and experiences that expand that vision. And so the first thing is pause. Take time away for your vision. The second thing, or the second step to creating a clear vision, is you have to picture what you want. picture your preferred future. What do you see in your future, right? And a future is relative. Future is 1 year. If you look at 2022, future is 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line. It's really up to what you feel most connected to and inspired to. And to me, one of the best clarity tools to picture it is a dream board. So this is me. I was doing a training called Make It Real, my course, and that's picture of 2 of my dream boards, really where you take the time and envision what it is that you see your life will look like. Again, it can be focused only on the business, but it can be expanded to your life. And it's how many of you have a dream board? Let me stop right here. Post in the chat. How many of you have had? People call it dream boards. People call it vision boards. We call it several other things. All right, Andrea, yep. Tanya, yep. And if you don't have one, even if you don't have it for your personal life, which I always recommend, I've also done dream boards and vision boards for teams, so organizations. So if you have a team or your company or your culture, you can craft a company vision board or dream board. So it's something that when you think of picturing what you want, this to me is the best tool. There are lots of other tools, but this to me is the best tool that you can use. And how do you create it? How do you create, find the pictures for your board or create that clarity? There's two things. Number one, you want to ask yourself the ultimate question. Now, I want you to write this down because it's not on the slide. But the ultimate question is this. If time, if money, if fear, or people's opinions were not factors. So if time was not an issue, if money was not an issue, if fear was not an issue, if people's opinions was not an issue, what do I truly want to be, do, have, or experience? Right? What do I truly want to be, do, have, or experience? And if you sit down and pause and you ask yourself those questions, answers will pop up, right? And that's typically from your personal vision that you're setting. The second way is now thinking of your organization or the business that you're building or want to build. And you ask yourself, hey, what is my organization's ideal future? Right? So you think of this project management community, Andrea, Sophia, what is that ideal future? What is the ideal future in 1 to 3 years out? What do you see yourself? Why does your organization exist? Right? What are the big ideas that you want to achieve through this organization? So again, you sit down and you begin to picture exactly what you want to see. Now, if we had more time, we would have done an envisioning activity right here, right now. And I know I have lots of things that I want to share, so we won't do it. But take time even tonight and just give yourself 5 minutes and just close your eyes and just ask yourself these questions and let the images rise to the top. Okay? The second thing, point number 1 is you want to pause. Point number 2, you want to picture your ideal future. Take the time to actually envision and see what that future looks like. And one way that if you want, I have this free training that I did last year called the Future Focus Challenge. Andrea, I don't know if you did it. Sophia, I don't know if you did it, but it's a 14-day future focus challenge that got you to envision every area of your life and your career. And if you're interested in that, I can send that to you as a gift. Because we don't have time to go into it. And then you want to pen, right? So you want to pen your vivid vision. So write it down, right? One of my favorite quotes is this quote, and I say it all the time. A small pencil is better than a large memory. Meaning, don't try to keep your vision in your head or in your mind. Don't say, oh, I can remember it. It's clear now. It may be clear today, but I promise you, after the bills, after traffic, after the news, after all of the stuff that's going on, you will forget. And studies show that only 60% of people write down their vision and goals, and they're the ones that typically achieve it. And so we want to ensure that we write it down. And these are really just the steps. You may not have all of the sentences or the details, but jot down it in bullets and phrases. So when I go travel in the next 2 weeks, I'm taking my journal and I'm jotting down all of the things that I'm beginning to see for the future, for the next year, okay? Write down in as much detail if you can, and then organize your thoughts into what is called a vivid vision. Now, there's a book called The Vivid Vision. I encourage you, if you love to read like me, this is a really, really good book to dive into, whether it be in reading or audio version of the book. I love the audio version. And he gives, while I've read so many books on vision, he gives quite a unique perspective on how to not only clarify your vision, but how to document it in a way that inspires yourself and inspires the people around you. So it's a very, very good book. I encourage you to do that. And then these are the 5 life areas. When you think of personal vision, you ideally want to ensure that your vision covers, right? Livelihood and lifestyle, body and wellness, creativity and learning, relationships and society, and essence and spirituality, right? So think about what I want my life to look like in these 5 areas. And take the time to envision those areas. From a business standpoint, I love to focus on the core 4 as it relates to your vision. Who are you serving? Who do you serve? What do you stand for? What do you solve? And what do you sell? And so if you can clarify and get clear on your 4 core areas for your business, you are way ahead of a lot of persons who are just operating business for the sake of operating it, and they're not really clear on these 4 areas. Okay? So who do you serve, what you stand for, what you solve, and what you sell? Those are the 4 core areas, and then the 5 personal life areas you really want to get clear on. Let me know if you're still with me. Let me know if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Got you. Tonya says, I got you. All right, so the last point. So point number 1 was pause. Take the time to slow down so you can speed up on and getting clear, just to think about that vision, create the space for the vision to come to mind. The second point was picture. Picture now that preferred future, that ideal future. Where do you see yourself in the next first year, 3 years, 5 years, wherever you feel called to focus on? The third point was pen. Write it down, and write it down in present tense. When I write my vision statements down for each year, I write it as if it's happening. In my events, we have a practice called, or activity called Act As If. So we're writing it down as if it's already happened. And so we're embodying those feelings, and hopefully that feeling will continue with us throughout the year. The final point in manifesting your vision, or at least just getting clear on your vision, is pinpointing what are the focus areas for the year. This is one of the biggest challenges, because many people could get clear on the big vision. How many of you are big visionary people? I am. I can talk big picture all day. I love the big picture. The challenge we have with clarity too is, how do I now take this big vision that I see, how do I pinpoint and narrow it down to areas of focus? And so this is where I'm going to spend the remainder of the time, and then we're going to dive deeper in. So the problem now, we're going into now setting the goals that spin from our vision. Okay, and so people use the words vision and goal setting interchangeably. I think goal setting is the step after you've gotten clear on what that big vision is. Now it's setting the goals that allow you to accomplish and manifest that vision. And the problem that people have is there's too many. How many of you have so many goals? Child, time as you write all down, you forget. Anyone can relate to that? Your vision is so big, and so you try to do everything at the same time, and then you do nothing. Yes or yes? Right, that's typically, I can relate to that too, right? So too many goals, there's so many things to do, so you set too many goals. And then the other challenge is poor design, right? We just write, I want to do this, and we think that that's how it's going to get us to achieve it. And so when you think of setting the goals that allow us to manifest our vision, less is more. 7 to 10 for the year. And in some cases, to me, 7 to 10 still feels like a lot, depending on what's happening, okay? But ideally, the best science, and I guess I've studied a lot on this topic, the best science, I would even say 2 to 3 per quarter or 1 to 3 per quarter. 1 to 2 per quarter is even better to me, from my personal experience when I'm setting goals. Then you want to have a strong goal summary and detail, and we're going to see what that is. And then set it and achieve it. So it's not just now being clear on this big vision and setting goals. It's now, how do I make these goals real? And that one, of course, takes practice. And we're going to end with the Make It Real method again. Okay. So pinpoint is identify the areas that you will focus on for the year. So now we're taking this big vision and say, what do I want to achieve in 2022? What is happening for 2022? People love to decide on an annual theme or a word for the year. I personally love to do that. And so that's something that I always recommend, because it keeps you focused again and brings you back to what the year could look like. And then you want to set smarter goals. How many of us have heard of SMART goals? Let me know in the chat. How many of us, or you can use the emojis. Yes, I see that that thumbs up, Andrea. How many of us actually write SMART goals? That's where it gets quiet. We know what SMART goals. We hear about it all the time. I think it was set up in 1800 something by some gentleman. It's been around for a long time, but many of us don't follow it. And that's why I have this quote here: to know and not to do is not yet to know, which is one of my favorite quotes when I teach. And it pretty much says, if we say we know it, but we're not doing it, we don't really know it. That's what keeps me grounded. And also there's a concept called smarter goals that was created by Michael Hyatt that I'm going to briefly run through. We won't have time to go deep into it, but I'm going to briefly run through it, and then I'll close with questions. So of course your goal should be specific, okay? And specific means, what do I specifically want to accomplish, right? And so I did this presentation with some ministry, and so you see my examples. I've not changed the examples, but you apply the examples to where what resonates for you. So you want to grow your business by 20%. Don't just grow the business, grow it by a certain amount. If you want to reduce your expenses by 70%, be very specific. Do you want to hire 2 people in the year? Don't just say I need help. I will get some help for next year. No, I want to hire 2 assistants for my business in 2022. So be very specific. The second is measurable, right? And so how do you know that you're achieving your goals? If I were to ask you to run a race with me, all right, I like to run. I have a love-hate relationship with running, but I like to run for the most part. If I were to ask you to run a race with me, usually what would you ask me? How long the race is? How long? You can just stand up. Who can just run with me? Let me know in the chat. You can just say, okay, come, I can follow you. No, you will know how long this race is, because you know it might be a half marathon, it might be a marathon, and that's what measurable goals actually do. It allows you to know, hey, when Andrea needs to know. Most of us need to know. Unless you're a really running freak, you need to know. And so when it comes to our goals, you also need to know when you finish the race, and as it relates to your goals. Which one? All right. And so your goals are like that. So for example, I work with companies who always say we want to exceed our customer expectations. That sounds good, but that's not a clear goal. What does that mean? How you know you're going to exceed your customers' expectations? Really, how do you? without setting measurable goals. And so you can turn that around to say, we want to increase our response time to 4 hours, which is now time in responsiveness, which we can measure whether how close or far we are to that goal. All right. So again, that's when we think of getting clear, it has to be measurable. And the strongest positive emotional response comes when we make progress on our difficult goals. And Dr. Timothy Cycle said that. And so in essence, if your goal is not measurable, how do you know if you're not making progress? Or if you're making progress if your goal is not measurable? Okay. And a lot of us say I love this question when in business, I love to ask people, how is business? That's a common question. And what do they say? It's good. It's good, everything good. What that mean? Like really what that mean? We don't know. And so again, it's having that clear, those ways to measure so you can say it's good and this is how it's good, and this is why it's good. This is the progress that I'm making. The third is actionable. And so now the goal must drive direct effort. And this is a common mistake that I see people have. They say they want to become a better business person, or they want to have a better business, or have better customers, or have better service. But that's not an actionable goal. An actionable goal starts with a verb. If your goal starts with be, I want to be, that's a vision. That's a part of the big vision. If you now want to take that vision and make it real, it has to start with a strong verb. It has to be, I need to reduce, I need to eliminate, I need to install, I need to buy, I need to start. It has to be actionable. So when you look at it, you know whether or not you're achieving it. The fourth is risky. Now, if you follow the old SMART goals concept, it used, who can remember what the R was? Anyone who knows SMART goals very well? The R was realistic. Thank you, Andrea. The R was realistic, but now the focus should be, your goal should be a little bit risky to get you out of your comfort zone, right? And why? People are not inspired by safe goals. I am not inspired by safe goals. I know safeness or safety kind of makes you feel secure, right? I know we're project managers, many of us, and so we kind of need to have that security. We need to know that something is going to happen. But ideally, you want the goals to be risky enough where it inspires action or inspires inspiration, right? And good risk. Now, we're not talking about crazy risk. And in fact, there's 3 types of zones when you think of risk. There's the comfort zone, which is where the realistic goals fall in. And the safe goals where, you ain't really growing, you ain't really, progressing. That's safe. You can close your eyes and do that. Then you have the discomfort zone where you're now creating some risky goals. It's taking you out of your comfort zone. People are inspired by it because they're now alive. And then you have the delusional zone, which nobody wants to be in. Right? And then there's a thin line between them all. We don't have time to go into what each one really, how each one looks and feels. But 9 times out of 10, I think we know what is comfortable for us and what is discomfortable, right? Delusional zone, I did a training session 2 weeks ago with some entrepreneurs, and we were doing a planning session for 2022. And I asked, they were to share what their financial goal was, what their revenue goal was for 2022. And I had an attendee, she said she wanted to make anywhere between $500,000 and $1 million in revenue. Now, in all, that's okay. That's fine. It's doable. Until I asked her how much revenue she made this year. And she hadn't hit $100,000 yet. And so I said it ain't impossible. But to go from almost nothing to starting up a company to make $1 million, I think that's just me, but I think it's maybe in the delusional zone. You gotta walk, you gotta creep before you walk, before you run. And she ain't selling nothing, I just saying. Let's focus. So, we could kind of, I wish we had more time to focus on goals in these categories. Markman, I felt she was delusional. Not that it wasn't impossible, but I think it was a little bit delusional. All right, so we got a few more minutes. Time keyed, so it has to motivate action with a time on it. Okay, goals are rarely achieved without a deadline. How many of you, when you set your goals, you actually have a deadline to it, or you just write it down? This is what I want to achieve in 2022. If you do that, it's halfway done, right? So you know it's 2022, it's halfway, but ideally, you also don't want to have distant deadlines. Meaning, if you put all of your goals to be achieved by December 31st, how many of you can relate to this? You can wait till September to start. Because, okay, I get December, I can tell December, you can wait till the fourth quarter or November in Andrew's case, right? And so you want to make sure that they're time-based, but they are spread out to ensure that, at least they're happening 2 to 3 per quarter. And if you do that ahead of time, what you will find is really good clarity on whether or not you can achieve all of your goals. When I did this in our planning session, one of the other attendees was like, boy, I don't know if I can't get all these done in all these quarters. And I'm like, that's the clarity that you need, because jumping into 2022 with all of these stuff, and now you're trying to put it into quarters and you realize it's really not doable. It's good to know that before you get into the year than to not know. So that's where setting the time is. I want to go to exciting. It has to be exciting to keep you inspired. Right? It cannot be boring. What is the likelihood of you achieving your goals if you don't have the excitement? Does it excite you personally? Does it excite your team? Does it engage your heart? Right? And if you're not excited, can you at least get excited about the process? Right? So you might say, I'm not excited about the action. So one of the things I always talk about is I like business, but I hate tracking numbers. Like some people get excited about tracking numbers, the accountants and tracking people. And I hate it. I hate it. I like to make it, but I hate tracking it. So whenever I talk about setting a goal to, do my books, that sounds so good, but trust me, no, it never gets done. I always have to reframe my mind to say, okay, you know what? I'm not excited about getting this done. Even if I've hired people to do it and still they require me to get involved, I've done that and they still need me to pull up stuff. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. What gets me excited is the end goal. Right? So if you're not excited about the actual activity, I know by having those books and achieving my goals and being able to look at what I have done at the end of the day, that gets me exciting. So I use that as my trigger or my trick in my mind. And so, but something has to excite you. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. And I don't find it exciting either. Yeah. No, child. I know. I've accepted that. Right? And last but certainly not least is it has to be relevant, right? And what relevant means is to avoid conflict with your other life values and other goals. And so what does that mean? You can say that you want have a goal to, we're talking business, but let's bring it to a personal standpoint. Or you want your business to be international and you want to travel the world, right? But if you have young kids in that life stage, it may be very difficult. And so you want to make sure that your goals are aligned with everything else that's happening with you and in your life. It has to be aligned with your values. And so if you value family and your business is taking you away from your family, or those goals are taking you away from your family, then again, it becomes very difficult or even could be delusional because, it's conflicting. And I find that happens a lot. When I work with people in business, they want to build a business. They're ready to build a business, but the family life, and they have so many other priorities. And I'm like, something you have to give, because you're not going to be able to accomplish everything and have and in the life stage that you're in. And then it also has to correlate and complement the other goals. So if you put all 7 to 10 goals together, do they compare? Do they align with each other? The idea is they not conflict and they not create a challenging situation for you that year. Okay. So in a nutshell, this is what it could look like if you were to write down your clear goals. You can take a snapshot of this, where you write out the goal, you identify that they're all smarter, they're smarter. You determine whether it's, we didn't go into habit or achievement. You determine which quarter that goal needs to be achieved in, what motivates you, and what are your next steps. And that needs to happen ideally earlier on before the year starts, so you can have an idea of what needs to be done, okay? And that's clarity. So we looked at point number 1, pausing. Point number 2, picturing what you want. Point number 3, penning those goals and writing them down. And point number 4, pinpointing the focus areas for the year. And then again, once you've gotten clear on your goals, it's time to make it real and being able to identify the potential. Do you believe that that goal can be achieved? What is the plan? And you've already begun to do a lot of that in clarity. Do you have the passion? Do you have the faith? Are you prepared to go through the process? The difficulty is, are you making time for the goals that you've set? Do you have the money, or can you generate the money, the provision for the goals? Are the people in the right place? Can you stick with it? And that's the persistence. Can you stick with it when it gets tough and when it gets draining? Do you have the patience to allow things to happen in its own time? And are you connected to the source of your vision, right? And that's the complete Make It Real method. Again, we only focused on clarity. And I will leave it here. For those persons who want more, I have a blueprint. Andrea, get to me. I'll get the future focus challenge. But if you want to go into the full training, you can take a snapshot of that and you can get a clipping of the training that comes with everything that I've talked about. And I want to thank you for the opportunity. I feel like I ran through that because there was so much that I shared. I wanted to honor time. And so I'll open the floor for questions.
Anyone have any questions quickly? You can type them in the chat or open your microphone and do that. We would like to take one quick photo while everyone is getting their questions together. For those of you who are not camera ready, I will give you about 5 minutes. We'll ask a couple of questions and go get yourself done up so we can get camera ready. We really would like to take a photo with everybody on camera, but we can start with a couple of questions. Anyone have a question? I have a question. I could start, Keshelle. I have a question. You know, one of the things that I, as someone who had made the transition from working for someone to working to myself, you know, you may have an idea of what it is you want to do, but there are specific pitfalls, right? You may have a vision. I want to do X, but making that transition from working for someone and then going to do whatever your X is a challenge. And one of the challenges that I had, and I still struggle with it, is when you're working for someone, your work comes to you. You know what your responsibilities are. When you work for yourself, you have to start that hustle. You have to figure out how to get a client, how to get business, how to execute business, how to do all the administration and the support stuff in the background that you used to go to accounting and go to IT and go to HR for. So making that transition, I think it's very important for those who are getting into business to understand that you now have to do all of that and your mindset has to shift from working for someone to trying to execute your vision on your own and thinking through your vision. So maybe you could speak to what is the biggest thing that you need to be mindful of to make that transition?
Oh, I love this question. I think that first of all, it's different from individual to individual. There's no, I personally believe there's no one size fit all, because we all have unique personalities that we can tap into as we make that transition. So for example, I'm a natural visionary, so I'm good with creating that that vision and being driven. I'm also naturally driven. I don't need much motivation. I can drive myself towards the goal. Someone else may not have that natural drive, but may be good in planning or may be good in other areas. And so for one, if we go back to the Make It Real method, it's understanding what skills you need. And that comes on the potential side, right? We understand that, do I have the potential to achieve the vision that I achieve in terms of making that transition? I want to be my own boss. Do I believe that I can succeed, right? And once I believe that I can succeed, what skills do I need, right? Do I need to have strong marketing skills? Or do I need to have sales skills? Or do I need to have technology skills? Do I need to have time management skills? Right? And so it's getting clear on, hey, in order for me to make this smooth transition, what do I really need to succeed as it relates to the skill set? Because I think we tend to feel like we can go into business because we have the vision and we have the idea, and that's all we need. That's going to cause us to succeed. No, we need to have the skills. We need to have the right people in our place as well, in our corner, whether it be mentors or people to guide us, especially if business is fairly new. Right? For me, as long as I can remember, I've always had some type of mentor or coach to tell me what to do, or at least guide me in the direction. I'm that smart. I've never assumed that I knew what I needed to do to get where I wanted to go. I've always either hired, paid, get to know people who had the skills and who's where I wanted to go. And so to answer your question, making the transition is getting clear on that vision and understanding what skills you need. And then goes back to also identifying what needs to happen right away to get you the biggest impact. Business could be so challenging because we wear so much hats in business, right? One day we doing this, next day we doing, in fact, the same day we doing 10 things. Yeah. And it's getting clear on, hey, you know what, I can do 10 things, or I can do one thing that moves the needle today. And can I easily find ways to determine what that one thing is? For me, I go on a walk most days, not every day, but every morning. I love to run, but a lot of times I just walk, and the walk is, yes, for physical movement, but it's more for me to get clear. Okay, Keshelle, I have these stuff to do. If nothing else gets done, what is one thing that needs to get done today? And once I get clear on that one thing, and I know that makes the greatest impact in my day, I'm okay. If I get the others done, that's gravy, but I'm okay with getting that one thing done. And so developing that habit of knowing what will move the needle in your business every day is also critical.
Right. Excellent. Does anyone else have a question quickly? Any hands raised? I don't see any hands raised. Anyone else with a question?
Any takeaways? You know, I'm a teacher. I want to know. You ain't got no question. You got to have a takeaway. Oh, I see the chat. Hold on.
Let me take this picture quickly while everybody's thinking. Can we turn on some cameras? You ready? I see Marklin. I see Toya, Keshelle smiling away, smiling. All right, here we go. Cameras, there we go.
Well, Keshelle needs to stop the screen sharing first, so you can have
Okay. Sorry, I thought. Okay, there we go.
I can get one. I could have gotten one. Who else? Who else gonna turn off those cameras? Who else gonna be brave? Come on, man. I gave you some minutes to throw on that face powder. Oh, turn on some light.
I see that nice background that Anna has.
Nobody else? Nobody else? That. Come on. Are you ready? Okay. All right, let's go. You're moving around. You're in darkness. I can't see you anymore. problem.
Thank you, Tonya. Thank
All
you
I
for
see
everything
is the
as well.
roof. There we go. All right, everybody ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, here we go. Got it. One more, don't move, don't move. There we go. Got it, thank you. All right, next question. Who had a next question? Takeaways. Oh, there's a takeaway from Tanya. Toya, sorry, Toya. How to construct clear goals. You got that one, Keshelle? Yeah. And at the end of the day, so that you're not all over the place. I think that is one of the biggest things. And also not trying to be all things to all people. You have to stay focused on what it is that you want to achieve. You know, what you went in business for.
Absolutely. And thank you, Ferguson, for that feedback, that comment as well. Yeah, associations work as well.
Anyone else? Any more questions, Keshelle? Andrea, you always have questions. Come on, man.
I know, but I was trying to stay silent and let everyone else speak because
Right.
I'm always the talker. So
I know, but
let
questions,
Marquin
just
talk.
questions.
Let Marquin talk first.
You gotta unmute Marquin.
Yeah, that'll be a start. Unmute first.
Keshelle, this was really timely. I like the points that you've made in terms of just dissecting the whole process of creating a vision and making it plain in a way that you can, you know, in other words, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? You actually make it measurable, you make it small bite-sized pieces. And I think this is very timely. This is a good Thanksgiving gift. I just wanted to say that, right?
Thank you, Markin. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Toya, a very, very, very good book. I feel one of the best books on vision that's out there. And there's lots of, but his book is really good. And Dr. Miles Monroe's book, Purpose and Power Vision, another really good read.
Well, I don't have a question per se, but I do want us to take a moment to acknowledge the persons who came after we did our icebreakers section at the start. I see we have a few new persons in the room, Ferguson, Cooper, and Ketanese. I think we started out by saying, what was it, Sophie, again?
It was, what are you grateful for? Since it's Thanksgiving, it is, where are you hailing from? If it's not the Bahamas, it is, how did you hear about us? And what you'd like to get from it. What would you like to get from the session? So it's those 4 things. So Cooper, that's Barbara Cooper, I think. Very quickly, your name, what would you like to get out of the session? How did you hear about the session, whether it was social media or someone on the team? And then what are you thankful for on this Thanksgiving Day?
Hi, good night. Yes, Barbara Cooper from Bahamas. I got the link actually from you, Mrs. Walker. And I guess what I have to take away from this is probably some the tips and tricks that you would need in establishing yourself as a small business owner. And what I'm grateful for is the opportunity to, I guess, be a part of others' learning experience, especially at BTVI. I do a course called Online Learning Preparation. So it kind of helps persons who haven't had that platform for online learning before to kind of learn and navigate just a few little tidbits on, I guess, getting their foot in the online door, so to speak. So that's what I'm thankful for. Thank you.
And I think, I don't think, Marquin, that you did that before you joined. I think we did that before you joined. We went into those 4 items. What are you thankful for? I don't think you were here when we did that in the beginning.
Which ones? The pause, which 4 items?
No, what we're thankful for. What are you thankful for on this Thanksgiving Day? How did you hear about the meetup? Yeah, that was it. I don't think you did. I don't think you were here when we did that in the beginning.
Oh, well, I'm always here. This is home for me. So now, what I'm thankful for, I am thankful for my family. I'm thankful for health and strength. And, just every day, it's just an opportunity to improve and do something a little bit better and just enjoy the whole process, of life itself, And so I'm just thankful, for that. Those are the, things that I'm thankful for.
Okay. Miss anyone, Andrea?
Ferguson and Ketanese.
Okay, good night, folks. Ferguson here. I'm hailing from Nassau, Nassauvian. I got the link from off social media, Andrea's Facebook. I've always wanting to join you guys, but it's like every time that I said something always comes up, so I never really had the opportunity. But thank God, I'm here tonight. I'm very thankful for my friends, family members. I'm thankful for life, health, strength. I'm thankful for the fact that I have a sound mind, and I'm just thankful for life, and I'm thankful to be on this recording. Good night.
Thank you for joining us, Ferguson. And last but not least, Ketanese.
Hello, good night, everyone. My name is Ketanese. I heard about you guys from Andrea Smith, and I'm grateful for life and, the opportunity to at least be here to get this knowledge. It was good. It was great. And what's the next lesson again? Oh, and I'm a hairstylist. I'm actually Andrea's hairstylist. So,
Excellent. Good to have you.
Yes, that's a shameless plug. So I'm supporting my hairstylist with my new hairdo tonight. Thanks for joining us. She has the privilege of having me sit in her chair and talk about this community for hours. So it's about time she joined us because she's been hearing about us.
I know, right?
Yeah. She's been hearing about us for months. So thanks for joining us.
For months.
Spread the word.
It was great. It was a good opportunity, and I will be back.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right. I think that's it. That's everyone who didn't get a chance to speak before. Do we have any more questions for our speaker before I ask Marquin to thank our speaker officially? Any more questions for her? Any more takeaways for her? Any homework we could give her? Anything we could ask her for before she go?
I'll say something.
Speak now. Go ahead.
I'll say something because y'all might say, "Well, oh, Andre ain't talking much," but anyway, I'll say that, Keshelle, I really appreciate you sharing this knowledge with us. It's always a pleasure to be in your company, and I always leave learning something that I did not know before. So that's always something good, and I love to learn something new. And you actually taught a few new things that I didn't know, so I'm grateful for that. And my thing is about having vision. What people don't understand about vision is when God gives you a vision, that's for you. It's personal. And you sometimes find that people see you trying to accomplish your vision, and they're wondering how come all these things are happening and everything is going on this way for you. And they don't understand it's a faith walk. It's honestly and truly a faith walk. And I always tell people, you cannot walk someone else's vision. You cannot accomplish someone else's vision. You only could accomplish your vision. Right. And I put it this way: you cannot swim in a pool and swim someone's race if that's not your race, because you will drown trying to swim someone's race. And when God gives you a vision, you have to have the faith to know that he's going to give you the provision, in that he's going to send the funding, he's going to send the people, he's going to send your mentors, and he's going to send everyone he needs to have aligned with you to make sure that that vision he has given you comes to fruition. And it's not an easy journey. And I will say from experience with this whole project management community, I always say that I feel as though this is a personal mandate that God placed on my heart. And so, you know, like I say, I sometimes have to run away because the vision is there. And the funny thing about it, you know, God gives you vision, but he doesn't give you the master plan to accomplish it. Like he would give you glimpses of the end.
The faith comes in.
You know, like you can see the end. Like I could tell them where I see this ending up, but I cannot say how are we going to get there. And that's why I think it's so important to have that support system, like you said, having this team and trusting that, hey, these are the people who are supposed to be here doing what they're doing. And I'm so grateful for this team. The support system that this community has is amazing. Everybody brings something to the table. They bring their experience, they bring their knowledge, they bring their trust to say, well, listen, we can see what you see. And we can share with you how we see us, not even me, us accomplishing these goals. And so I'm grateful for that. And your 12-step principle is something that, you know, I'm going to bring back to the team. I took a screenshot of that and we're going to go over that and say, well, okay, how do we line up with clarity? How do we line up with, you know, all of these different aspects of it? And we're going to dissect that to the T, set up our objectives, have some strategies, know where we want to go, what do we want to accomplish, how we want to serve, you know, and the thing about it with this organization, this community, it's all about helping people. You know, we're about giving back and helping people to become the better versions of themselves. And with all of that said, I want to say thank you to Sophia for offering to host tonight. She did an amazing job. I felt welcome from I entered the room. And I hope that all of our new visitors, and I kept track of it. We had 8 new persons join us tonight, which is a record. And for it being Thanksgiving and everyone saying, you should have canceled this, you should have postponed this, no one's going to show up. And I said, listen, who's supposed to be here to get this word will be here. And so we had 8 new persons. I think Tanya is visiting from Canada. I think that's what Tanya said. Right? So we have Canada in the house. We have Jamaica in the house. We have someone from Freeport. And I think everyone else was from Nassau, but you're still touching different parts of the world on a night when they said, cancel it. No one's going to show up. So that's an accomplishment all of in itself. And so I just like to thank our new visitors. If this is your first time, I hope that the message has touched you like how it touched me and you were able to grasp and learn from it. Thank you to our host. And I'm saying Marquin's part. Sorry, Marquin. See, I tell you, don't let me start talking.
Don't let it get started.
You know? So, Marquin, it's your time.
Marquin,
So, like you said,
what can I add to that?
Keshelle, I in particular with this with your presentation tonight, I thought it was something. Yeah, I mean, what do? You see why we try to push you to the end of the presentation all the time? But you know what? I was reflecting on something just now, and you know, one of your points was pause and retreat, and I thought about it in just in terms of a year itself, and with this presentation, I said to myself, well, it's a good time when you're looking at it, where we are in the year, winding the year down. This is a good period to pause, retreat, sort of regather and examine what it is that you want to do moving forward for the next year. And so it was just a unique sort of idea that I tied together when you spoke about slowing down to speed up. Mm-hmm. And what part of the year do you slow down? This is a good time. This is a good period that you can actually slow down, and then you could hit a new year running. I really enjoyed the presentation tonight. I really did, and the whole going through the entire presentation, I was able to grab a lot of nuggets, and I'm sure most of us here were able to grab some good nuggets from the presentation. And I just want to thank you for coming and spending some time with us and imparting some of your knowledge and your wisdom. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone here. Your time was well spent and well accepted with us. I'm sure everyone was able to appreciate a lot of the presentation, and hopefully we can you know, take some part of it here or there and actually put it into our process moving into next year and how we form our goal and our vision for next year. And so I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. And I'm sure this is not the last time we are going to see Keshelle. We're going to drag her right back here next year for different events. So we will not say goodbye to you. We will only say so long for now. But before we wrap it up, I did drop a survey in the chat. We really like to hear your feedback from those who are participating, to hear what we did well, what we can improve upon, what ideas you may have for us. We talked about how you can get in touch with us. We are on Facebook. You've seen some of the LinkedIn posts. We are setting up another LinkedIn page, and we are going to really start to try to expand our promotion and our marketing of our community to see if we can get more persons to become engaged. But word of mouth is certainly good. You know, if you talk to someone tonight, tell them that you enjoyed yourself and talk about the community. Whenever you see the post, please reshare them, like them, do whatever you need to get the word out. And last but not least, we have one more meetup before the end of the year, and that is with Leon Sabarsky. Leon Sabarsky, that is on December 9th. So that is our last one before we wrap up for the year. And then next year, of course, we'll have a whole nother lineup of speakers for our meetup. So really continue to support us in the community, spread the word about the community. And if you can, join us on December 9th. Did I miss anything, Andrea, Marquette?
Well, I just want to say congratulations to the Bahamas Project Management community for reaching a milestone today. Our Meetup page has reached 102 members. So that's something we're celebrating. We have 102 persons that are members of our Meetup group, and that will get our notifications about when we have our meetups moving forward. So that's I was happy about that. I was trying to get 100. And it's 102 now. So celebration time.
Excellent. Wonderful. Okay, Marco, I don't know if you have anything to add, but with that, I think we can wrap up the night. You look frozen. You're frozen. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving.
Good night, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Good night.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Good night.